So here's what we know. The highest performing teams have a lot of trust. The strongest relationships are built on trust. And yet it's a concept that can be hard to really ground in what creates trust. How do you build trust? If you talk about, oh, we would listen, we have, respect for each other. What are the behaviors that actually build trust? That's what we're going to explore today is how do you do trust in a relationship?
And what we know is trust takes a long time to build. For different people, maybe that length of time is different. But trust does not just happen overnight. And what we know is if you're willing to talk about trust, talk about those trust behaviors, as Darcy mentioned, you can really accelerate that process. Doesn't change overnight, but it can go from it's going to take us a few years to build trust to maybe it takes us a few months to build trust if we're really making a concerted effort to do so. So, we're going to take a look at the 5 steps of a trust conversation. So, if you have somebody who you want to build the trust bank account, if you will, or increase trust in your relationship, here are the 5 steps that you can take. The first one starts with you and that's to examine your intents and to think about what's the goal. Is this a new relationship you're looking to build? Is this an existing relationship that's maybe okay right now and you're looking to increase the trust? Or is there a broken relationship maybe, or just difficulty, that there's some repair that needs to be done? Each of these conversations are going to have a different tone and a different tenor. And so getting clear on what is your goal, and then are you willing to do something different? Are you willing to do something different?
And that's exactly where the emphasis is, because a lot of times people come in and say, okay, here's what I need. I need them to listen more. I need them to follow up and be accountable. I need someone else to do something differently. And what we're looking at is, and that's, of course, yes, that's true. We don't disagree. And yet we don't control somebody else's behavior. So what are you willing to do differently to increase and improve the trust?
Step 2 then is still on you. You are still thinking about what you're needing, what you're looking for. And so in that relationship with that person where you're looking to build trust, what you're going to do next is to identify what are the trust behaviors that you are looking to see in this relationship. It might be what you're hoping to see from them, but also what are you willing to do, looking at it from both angles there. So these are, you might have seen these before, these are 13 different trust behaviors as identified by Stephen M. R. Covey. You might have different trust behaviors that this is something for you that builds trust. For example, Darcy, what we know one of her trust behaviors is giving her the update, letting me know how it went. That's something that we know that builds trust for Darcy. And so regardless of the relationship, think about that specific relationship, not just hypothetically, not in general, but with this person that you are looking to build trust with. What are the behaviors that would be helpful for you to see in that relationship? Once you get that taken care of, now you're ready for the conversation. So, step 3 is actually to ask the person for that conversation and share those trust behaviors with them and get specific. You keep hearing me say with the word specific. There's a reason for that. Get clear on what does that behavior look like and what does it sound like. So if one of the trust behaviors that's important to you is to talk straight, how would we know in this relationship that we were talking straight? Not hypothetically, but what are the situations where what would talking straight look like? Because when we look at it from the sense of reality, there are very few relationships where you can always just share everything all at once whenever the thought comes into your mind or whatever update that you had. And so, how are you going to navigate that relationship so that you're still seeing that behavior of talking straight? Once you share your thoughts, this is then the chance for the other person to share their thoughts. So, share that list of behaviors or co-create a list of behaviors, whatever it might be, and then ask them, what are the behaviors that build trust for you? They might be different. Very likely they will be different. But that's an opportunity for you then to also reflect back what you're hearing from them. Get curious about, what does it look like? What does it sound like? So that's the conversation. And then the final part of that conversation is to commit to the practice. Trust is not an on-off switch. It's not just okay, now I trust you. Now I don't trust you. It takes time to build, even when you're talking about it. So commit to that practice. Commit to naming those behaviors when you see them, or requesting those behaviors when you have identified them. And then schedule a time to check in and see how is it going. If this is a behavior or a relationship you're looking to build trust in, have those check-in points to see how it's going.
And that check-in is really helpful for a couple of reasons. One, it increases accountability. It's like, oh, I said I was going to be transparent. I said I was going to talk straight. I said I was going to listen. How am I doing? We're going to actually talk about it. And one, and two, it also then sets you up for success, because if it's not going well, it's a lot harder to request a meeting to say it's not going well versus, oh, we set this meeting up for 2 weeks from now. We can talk through how is it going. So it's really going to encourage the conversation to happen, regardless of where you are in that spectrum of really going well or, oh, we didn't quite nail it yet. So we thank you for coming. These 5 steps to a trust conversation, you can go and do now. And as always, it comes down to engaging your thoughtfully fit core. Hit the pause button to reflect on what's your intent, and then think about what are the top trust behaviors you want for this relationship, and then act. Share with the other person, ask them to share, and then commit to practice and build accountability in a check-in afterwards. We wish you the best. When you go do this, let us know how it goes. And if you feel like maybe this is a big leap and you need some support, this is what we do. We work with relationships and teams all the time to increase trust and build high-performing relationships and teams. So reach out to us at any time. Thanks so much for joining us.